Juliet with guns and hot cars in this contemporary setting. Now, when you heard about this, did you get the idea right away?
I didn't get it right away because I was almost a part of it. You know, I started off with Baz, and he was the director, Baz Luhrmann, and he proposed this idea to me of doing a contemporary sort of fantasy world with Romeo and Juliet, and I didn't quite get it at first, but then we explored a lot of different ideas. I mean, there were times when there was like he wanted the characters to sort of jump around in rollerblades, and I was like, no, that's not going to work. And then we finally sort of pinpointed what were the most important parts of the play, which was the violence and the two opposing families, and bringing sort of guns instead of swords. I mean, what a sword sort of meant back then. I mean, at any time you could go to battle and you could die, sort of like now with the guns. You know, a lot of people carry them around, and we wanted to bring that in, and the religious aspect, and sort of love triumphing over hate. And so we really, when he really started to focus on that, everything started to become really clear. And I think that, and when I started filming, it felt almost like we weren't doing Shakespeare for a little while, just because everything just felt so real, you know. And I finally saw the movie, and it worked. It wasn't like I needed to like adjust, you know, like I needed like a half an hour to say, okay, what the heck is going on here before I could get into the story. It was like 1 or 2 minutes, and then bam, okay, I know what's going on, you know.
Now, do you love Shakespeare personally?
I can't say that I was, neither here nor there with him. All I knew was, just like any other person my age, you hear Shakespeare, like, oh God, those long-winded plays that you just don't understand, that you have no clue about. And then I finally, when I really, read Romeo and Juliet for real and really understood what was going on, it was something so timeless that, something that sort of defied the time and sort of molds into what's going on in our lifestyle now. And the character Romeo was it was like one of the earliest rebels, He rebelled against his entire family for love, And I thought that was a profound sort of thing. And once I started to get into it, and I realized what sort of a ballsy guy he was by marrying Juliet and like saying no to his family and all his friends and everything just for this girl. And she like tells him, all right, if you love me, then marry me. Let's see what you got. And he does it, and he sort of risks his whole life for it. And it was a great character,
That's right. You're shooting Titanic, your first big kind of commercial
first
picture.
one, yeah.
No, that's not the kind of thing you're usually drawn to.
Not usually. I can't say it will always be either. I mean, I want to try something new. I want to. You can't sort of do the same thing over and over again. Not to say that I have, because I don't believe I have, but I've stuck to sort of lower budget things, which I actually like to do better, just because it gives you, you're more involved, I think. But I wanted to just have this experience just for the sake of sort of having it, because you've got to try different things in life, And not saying that that's what I'm going to stick to, because I don't believe that, but, it couldn't hurt.
But you're drawn to this because it's another, like this, romantic story.
It's another romantic story. It's a love story about two people on the Titanic, and then, it's a beautifully written story, and it's the ultimate tragedy. All these people just sort of dying, and then you have the whole upper class and lower class thing sort of going on too. What happened on the Titanic was they thought that they had a boat that was completely unsinkable. Then they hit an iceberg and they started to sink, and nobody believed that they were sinking. So then all the first class passengers got on the lifeboats, and there was only enough lifeboats to save 30% of the people on the ship, because that's how unsinkable they thought the ship was. So then all the people in first class just stayed around the ship on their lifeboats, and then everybody else just sort of was sitting there in the water, freezing to death, dying, and nobody ever came back to get them except for one boat. And so it's a tragic, just a horrible story, and it's also real too, which really got me attracted to it. It's not like doing, Cyborg 7 or something.
Yes.